Vijay, tell me, you had a listing and it was an amazing outcome. So tell me what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, I mean, this is really amazing because client contacted me and they wanted to sell their investment property. We put it on the market and it was tenanted, right? I knew there was a lot of challenges already on that. It was tenanted, and especially the condo market is, it's not doing so well because there's a lot of listings out there. So we've prepared it. I've had a good relationship with the tenant, very respectful, and we put it on the market within, you won't believe it, within the first showing. We had first showing, second showing. The first person that saw it put an offer, and it sold within the basically sold within the next 3 days. So it's for and yeah, it's unbelievable. Even the sellers were like so surprised because we priced it really well. I mean, it's priced within market value. It's not underpriced at all. And then we had really nice pictures in them, considering there was a tenant. And yeah, we did the marketing, and he was like, the seller was like, I was expecting it to go even longer because we know we have a lot of competition, even in just the building alone. So yeah, right now he was happy and told him that we got the deposit, your property sold. So yeah, it's amazing.
Awesome. So in this market, you're able to sell it within 3 days. Was
Correct.
this norm? Like you can
I
sell
don't
within, okay.
you know what? It's obviously in the past few months, it's been a little different, right? A lot of buyers or sellers are kind of like in this waiting game of what's happening with the market and trying to test the waters. And buyers are have a lot of selection. So for us, I guess it was just a matter of timing, marketing, and I guess putting a lot of good things into marketing this home, basically propelled us from getting this buyer. So yeah, and we see a lot of changes happening lately though. So because of
Okay.
the trend that's happening now in the market, everybody knows about how interest rates going lower, and the it's leading towards like even more lower rates. So yeah, so a lot of people are trying to either catch the wave now, get something now, because we know what's going to happen, right? Like when the interest rate goes down, uh, the prices will go higher. There's going to be a lot more demand. People are going to be There's a lot more buyers coming back into the system. So yeah, the cycle kind of goes back, and then it depends on where you are, if you're a buyer or a seller at that point.
What kind of questions are you getting from buyers right now? Like your phone is ringing a lot, and what kind of questions are you getting?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, right now, buyers are, a lot of people that were on the fence are calling me back and calling the team back. I was like, I see a lot of people calling us and telling us like what we should do right now. Do we go back and try to buy now, or should we wait until the interest rate even goes even further down? So obviously, we try to give them the pros and cons of what they should do, and then let them decide what's best for them. So right now, if you're buying right now, there's a lot of advantage. You have the inventory to choose from. You can do your due diligence, right? You can take your time. You can put all the subjects that you need to have that peace of mind when you purchase a property. Whereas if you wait a little longer, say in a few months when the interest rate goes down, so obviously all these other buyers were going to come back. You're going to have a lot more competition. So the trend of coming back with, let's say, we've been through this in the past few years when the interest rate was really down, and people are just, the whole bidding war came back, and there might be a trend that could happen. We don't know yet, but like it's you'll feel more rushed, I guess, right? Because if there's the inventory will probably lessen because a lot more buyers will come in, and yeah, it's for you as a buyer, then you'll make the decision a lot faster when that time comes, right? So is that best for you, or is it then it's up to you, right? So yeah.
Right. Well, what I like about what you're saying is when the client asks a question, we are the same way. When the client asks a question, should we buy now? Should we buy later? And I tell, like what you said, we give them the pros and the cons between the two choices. And at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, the client has to make a decision that's what's best of them for
Mhm.
them based on the information that's available. I tell them, I cannot tell you if it's a good time for you to buy now or later. All I can say is all of this. And I say, why can't you tell me if I should buy now or later? I said, because I'm not paying for the mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your mortgage that you have to pay for, right? So,
Yes, and you need to take ownership for your choices, right? Like,
correct.
and I,
Yeah.
I think we're all adults
Yeah.
here, and everybody has their own timing, right? Somebody wants to buy now because they don't want that, or wants to buy later because they don't want that. Like, know what you want, know what you don't want, and
Yeah.
make the choice based on those things. Don't use the economy and all of that. It's like you need to go inside and understand yourself. Like, this is
Yeah.
my goal, this is what I want from me and my family, this is my vision for my future. So how am I going to act based on the data that VJ presented to me? How am I going to act based on what Bernadette presented to me? But at the end of the day, the leading thought is my purpose and my vision for my future, my why. Just like what
Yeah. I
everybody said, right?
mean, at the end of the day, people always follow what other people do, right? So when everybody's going and buying, and that's when people are started asking questions like, should we buy? I don't want to be left behind. I want to be like, I want to do what they're doing. So
FOMO.
it sometimes is good to go against the grain because you're like, if you're doing something different that everybody's doing, sometimes you're taking advantage of what other people don't see, right? So yeah, and
Yeah.
it is human nature to kind of like take a step back. I'm like, okay, well, am I really making a good decision here, right? But like I said, like the whole purpose of having you guys being there and us being here is just kind of like give them information that they would need, and then and go from there, right? Like, if you want to buy now, this is what we need to do. Step one, step two, step three. If you want to buy later, like we're working with your pace. That's
Yes,
it's that
exactly.
we're not gonna say like go buy now just because this is what everybody's telling you to do, right? So
Yeah, we give them the roadmap, but they're still the driver. I want to
yeah,
tell them, I'm not the driver. You're the driver. We're
yeah,
the expert. We're your tour guide here. Like, we know
we're,
where to go, how to go, and all of that. But you
exactly. We're
are
we're
the
just
one
here for
in control.
guidance, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. Okay. And then what about sellers? What kind of questions are they asking?
you know what?
And
It's
then yeah.
yeah, it's very similar to buyers too, because
Okay.
you know sellers always know what's going on too, right? They hear the news and they hear, they look at their neighborhood and see what's selling. They actually like monitor what's, the for sale sign has been up in that neighborhood for so long, and they ask, I'm like, oh, have that sold yet? Like, how much did it sold for, right? So I'm here to kind of give information, and the end of the day, everybody has a different plan and different stages in their life. People will move because of X reasons, right? People will sell because something changed in the family. It's not because, oh, I want to sell because I want to take advantages in the market, right? So it's
Yeah.
for people that are to say thinking of upgrading. I get that from, I have this client that called me and said, you know what, they were thinking about selling a few years ago and they kind of stopped because of, what's going on with the market. They don't want to like, they felt like their house is the same as price as what your neighbor sold 2 years ago, and they want to sell the same price point. But obviously the market shifted, right? The market corrected. So I told them it's not going to be the same as what your neighbor had sold two years ago when the market was crazy. But it's within that range, right? So if you want to sell now, then we're going to have this is different challenges, right? Because of a lot of buyers were kind of like say, like I mentioned before, they were like waiting until the better rates are out there, and then before they take action. So selling right now takes longer, right? So
Okay.
we're in the balanced markets. I should say it's not a buyer's market right now, like as I people think it's really just balance, right? This is what the normal market would be. Like property would sell within 30, maybe 60 days, as opposed to before it would sell within a week, right? So you have to have that patience. You have to be willing to take the chances. Because at the end of the day, whatever you sell this property for will make up for the ones you're purchasing, right? So let's say,
Yeah.
if this was a seller's market 2 years ago, when you get increased amount of offers and you have bidding wars, you're going to be doing the same thing when you're purchasing, right? So so at the end of the day, it's like it's good to have this balance when people are offering and taking their time to purchase the property that they really want, and then you'll be doing the same thing when you're selling, right? So it's like I said,
I
it,
like the not frenzied thing, you
yeah, I mean,
know?
I always tell this to my clients too. Like, it doesn't matter when you're selling or buying, as long as you're doing it within the same market, right?
I love that. I love that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Because you buy low, you sell low, you buy low.
yeah,
You buy high, you sell high.
sell high. Yeah, so
It can't, it can't, it can't be the other way.
yeah,
Like
you just,
you sell high
I
and you
also
buy
told them,
low.
and I also sellers too. I tell them, like, don't sell your property now and then think about buying in the next 2 years, because that's not going to work, right?
Mhm.
So just
Yes.
now, you within the next 3 months, you have to be purchasing as well, because you want to
Yeah.
be in the same market.
No,
So yeah,
that's
so
really
yeah,
good advice.
yeah. So people that are on the fence selling, people, should we wait or should we wait later? For investments, that is not your principal residence, those are the ones I tell to wait, right? I tell them, like, wait.
Why is that? Why is that? I can see why, but
Yeah.
why is that if they're buying investment to wait?
For investment, because you have no attachment to it, like, personally, because you're not living in it. It's not gonna, like, change your world as much as selling your own house. An investment property, when we know the market is going towards it, heading towards the seller's market, when it's going to be lower interest rate and buyers are coming in, wait until that time comes, because there's a lot of positives that can happen to that, right? You can sell your property for more than what you really thought of. You leverage the timing, the market, your property's worth is going to go higher than what you initially thought today. So yeah, those are the ones we wait. I mean, as long as the
Yeah.
tenant is paying their
Yes.
their their dues, their what do you call that? Their rent.
Yes.
Yeah, just hang on to the
I
property.
totally agree because I have a rental property and I was thinking of selling it. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm waiting because I have no compelling reason. I
Yeah.
can afford to write it out. And like what you said, when it inverts to a seller's market, I'd be able to sell it for a lot more so that I can pay the government more taxes. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, it's always, they always get you something. But
Yeah.
yeah, but like I said, it's different reasons for selling or buying, right? So if the reason is because you want to downgrade, or if you want to upgrade, and because the family is bigger now, like, if you can wait. But I mean, if the timing is now, and it's, and because, yeah, the life changes, I would, yeah, there's, you do it because you feel like doing, right? It's within
For
you,
your reasons,
for your own reasons, exactly. Not because
your
you're
why.
waiting for the market to go blow up. So it's,
Somebody said that if you let the economy dictate your actions, you are not in control of your economy. You know, your
yeah,
personal economy, because
yeah.
somebody else is controlling you.
I totally
Vijay,
agree.
yeah, can you share with us a story like a client that you recently helped and why you're so happy that you're a realtor? Because you like
Mhm.
moments like that when you're able to help someone, you just go, "Oh, this is why I do what I do." Is there
Yeah,
someone like you helped recently?
yeah. I mean, I'll give this family. This is like one of my favorite stories too. They're a past client of mine. They were living in a condo, their first home, and they contacted me. And it's like, well, what should we do? Like, our kids getting bigger. Obviously, we need more room now. To we like wait until the time when, wait until the market kind of changes before we make the decision, right? And at the end of the day, you know what? Let's what's your objective, right? The
Yeah.
objective is to basically have room for the family, stay in the same neighborhood. And what we did is we didn't list the property yet. We looked around, we looked at homes that they could potentially be wanting to live in. And then they're like,
Okay.
you know what? There's a lot of options out here. We can see ourselves living here. And then that gives them a better decision. They're like, you know what? Let's just list our property and see what happens. We put it on the market. Within 1 week, we got a accepted offer. And then the next week, we put an offer on the townhouse that they want to live in the same neighborhood. So we basically sold the property in 1 week and then purchased the following week. And then now I just went to their uh, I went to their housewarming 2 weeks ago, and it was just like, I met the family and the rest of the relatives, and they were just like so happy that they made their decision. They're so happy with their house right now. It's brand new home and living in the same neighborhood. And the fact that they were thinking that when they put the property on the market, that it's going to stay for longer. It didn't, right? So and we got it for like, basically it's an asking price, like the when we put it on. So yeah, I love that story because it's like, and then they gave me a gift. Like, even though I was really surprised because I wasn't expecting it, and they gave me a gift saying, like, you made a difference in our life, and we couldn't thank you enough. So it's one of those times you just like, like, I love what I'm doing, right? Like, you make a difference to people because it's their lives that we're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, and I love the fact that you really listened and you didn't just go, like, come on, let's list it and it'll be fine. Everything's fine. It's like,
yeah,
okay, well, I hear you.
yeah,
And this is what's possible. And then putting themselves in, oh, okay, this is possible for me. Like, really?
yeah,
And now that vision has come to fruition because you listen and you position their home in a good price, so they're able to get it done within a week. That shows like experience, that shows wisdom, because you knew the right pricing so that it'll happen. And then the following week, they found their home brand new, smells so good, feels
yeah.
so good. Well done.
Oh, and on top of that, the property that we bought, we've negotiated the price on too. And it's like it was the homes that sold in that same complex were priced and sold bought higher. And we got the end unit, we got all the works, and we got it. We had a negotiated price on it. So it was just like they couldn't believe it.
So, Vijay, I had a client who asked me if I was buying a brand new property, why do I need a realtor? Can you
You
tell them why they need a realtor, even though it's buying? Like, I could just go straight to the
The
developer.
developer? No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they can do that. I mean, the reason you do that is because when you're putting when you're buying a property, the developer has no relationship with you. Like, they have, they work for the agents of the developer work for the developer and the seller, right? They have no obligation or anything with the buyer. You have to read the disclosures. You have to know what's going on with the development. You have to know if the sellers have filed for bankruptcy before, if what's their track record, because you want to know when you're buying a property that has a good track record, that never had any issues in the past. Are they good with their warranty? Are they able to kind of answer your questions when you had issues with the quality of the home, right? So those are the things that we kind of go with. And that's our job, to make sure we dissect those contracts, to make sure that if that when you say you're buying a pre-sale, like, how much is the assignment fee? When is the outside date going to be? Like, what happens if the construction doesn't continue at that end date? Like, how do you get the deposit back, right? So those are the things that the seller's agent will not really disclose with you because they have no relationship with the buyer.
So see, these points, like no buyer can understand, right? At the end of the day, sometimes the buyer just, oh, I can get a better price. Like
Yeah.
it's not just the price. There's so
Yeah.
many moving pieces. There's a lot that you don't know, and only an expert knows.
And
So,
some of the time, like I don't, it's when we're buying, we're so excited. I'm like, oh, I got the unit that I wanted. But did you read the contract like through and through, right? Because there's a lot of those things that, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I didn't know I had to pay this much fee because of this X and X, right? So it's good to know all the steps before you make that commitment. Because once you make the deposit, that's firm and binding, and you're basically obligated to complete.
yeah, I love that. I really, really love that. Okay, so now, Vijay, I guess in the final question that I have for you is how do you stay connected with your past clients? What do you do? Because some realtors, they said that some of them, like, oh, Bernadette, my realtor, I have those.
Mhm.
Who was your realtor 5 years ago? Oh, I don't know. I, I I don't remember. I go, why
Mhm.
not? I don't know. They've never
Never
contacted
heard
me.
from them? Yeah.
So what do you do to stay connected with your people, with your clients?
Well, for myself and my team, basically, relationship is the key, right? When we help a client, it's not a transaction, it's about relationship. You want to continue the relationship with them. Like for myself and my past clients, like I know all their birthdays. I know when they're having their anniversary in their home, and I give them a call and see how things are going with you guys after they move in. I check in with them, how's your neighbors? How do you like the neighborhood? It feels good to have that connection still because it's all relationship, right? We're all people, right? So that's how we connect with each other. And also for
That's
the ones
great.
that we do their client events that we have, we constantly make sure that our clients are invited to make sure to see them and say hi to them. We have our annual event during Christmas and our summer events. I know everybody is busy and everybody have their own lives, but sometime to take some time and see them and then say hello to them. It's a small thing, but it's for me, it's gratifying to see what they're doing. And then sometimes you see like, young families and now they have babies, right? So I'm like, it's so nice to see that because now I know like I was part of that home that you're actually living in, and now you have a family there. So yeah, for me it's basically constant communication, phone calls, invitation to our events, and yeah, just basically just saying hello. Sometimes I go for lunches with like coffee with some clients that I'm just like, you know th- when you think about somebody, make that call.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
there's a reason you thought about that someone, right? So,
Right.
and I'm like, sometimes I just shoot a text. I'm like, see how things are going with you guys. Like, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Like, what's new? Like, those are the things that I just want to constantly input in myself and also with the team that I have to make sure that the relationship lasts forever, right? So it's not because you want to create more business.
Sell.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. Like for me, that I'm always about having that connection with people. Like I always see the good in people. Um, yeah, it's just having, I'm always just, I don't know, I'm just, I guess I
A
always stay
relationship
connected.
guy.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
you're a relationship and connection guy, and that's something I've always known about you from day one. So I appreciate that about you. And so for our clients out there who's looking for a realtor expert, we're sharing VJ's contact information. So if you're thinking of selling, buying, you want to know what's happening in your market,
Yeah.
here's the link for VJ, and feel free to connect with him. Thank you, VJ, for our
Yeah.
time
Thanks,
today, and I
Bernadette. Yeah,
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate the opportunity to, say hello to everybody.